My name is Rob Woodcox, and I'm a surreal portrait artist. I really like photographing things with sort of a dreamy, very imaginative quality. I like to think of myself as not having grown up quite yet. I really like to tell stories, and I like it to be full of imagination, and so everything that I do, I don't want it to be just simple. I don't want to stand someone up against a white wall. I want it to just be peculiar, different, and have this element of not normal, you know, supernatural almost. When I take photographs and create these stories like I do, it helps me to feel like I'm making almost a story about that person and showing who they really are. Some people may have seen an image where I have a girl and she has her hair up in braids and there's flowers almost like they're growing into a swing set. You know, I wanted to portray her emotion but also capture this interesting visual of her hair being intertwined and almost intertwining her thoughts into what's going on around her. One of the more recent shoots that I've done is called Calling Outer Space. The idea behind it is that, you know, these kids are bored and they want to experience something really cool. So they get this idea in their head that, oh, maybe if we bring out all of our televisions and our electronics, you know, we'll be able to call outer space and the aliens will see us and pay us a visit, you know? I was shooting on my Canon 5D Mark II, and on my camera I was using the 24-70 2.8 lens, and I was also using two Vivitar flash units. One was umbrellaed and positioned below kind of where the children were standing so that it would simulate the television lights glowing up into their faces. And then of course I used a second flash unit to fill in their faces and a little bit of their outfits with a little mini softbox. I used a fog machine to kind of fill up the background with this eerie sort of fog, and I used a tungsten light that was separate from everything else sitting on the ground, and it was pointed up to the back of the children. So in the final image, it looks as though the window of the house is actually backlighting them, which I feel, you know, adds a lot of, you know, depth and atmosphere as well. So I think when I'm looking for a model to pose how I want them to, often I will really have them get into character. So, you know, I want a certain expression, and so I'll talk to them, I'll tell them the story that I'm trying to portray, and it helps them to really, you know, move and get into it. The difference between working with children and adults, I would say, it's just a lot more fun. Of course, if it's a really small child, I have to be almost like an entertainer more for them because you really have to work to hold their attention. Photoshop does play a pretty big role in most of my photos. Even the simpler ones are composites. If you think of a panorama, you take multiple shots from side to side to get, you know, that wide view. And so you can do the same thing with a portrait. You know, you want more detail or you want to get closer to the subject. In addition to that, you know, a lot of my images have things composited in from other shots. Sometimes when I do like a levitating photo, for example, I usually try to make sure that no matter what, all the lighting matches up. And once you get that down, it makes it a lot easier in post. You know, you just kind of carve out some piece from this image and it fits perfectly into the next image. So I would say some of the photographers that I've seen that do some similar work like that, such as Annie Leibovitz or Tim Walker, they really initially inspired my longing to do, you know, surreal, out-of-the-ordinary photographs. A lot of times I get asked, you know, how do you make people float and how do you make people levitate? Just like a magician doesn't share their secrets, I don't like to share all of mine. And so I will give you a hint. Definitely the images are composed of more than one image, but beyond that, I'm gonna let you kind of guess for yourself. I do some jobs here and there, but until I'm full-time as a photographer, I'm just gonna keep shooting as often as I can. There's no reason that my creativity and my imagination should be withheld. I'm just gonna do it because I love it, and that's all there is to it. I wish I had powers of levitation. My name is Batman. People don't actually fly in real life. If someone that's watching this flies, please call me because I want to photograph you.